What's Crack-A-Lackin? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into another episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleazebomb. Today's episode, we're going to be diving into my top 36 wide receiver rankings, guys. Remember, the Bills and the Ravens are on a bye, so get them out of your lineups. That'd be Zay Flowers, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, pretty much, unless you're playing in deeper leagues, DeAndre Hopkins or something like that. So in this episode, this is not going to be my crazy stat drops. If you want to check all the crazy stats, check out the wide receiver stardom situms. This is just my personality, my game tapes, or my game takes. Couple jokes here, how I think the games are going to go with over-unders and game scripts, which is going to lead to my rankings. And of course, stats are involved in my rankings as well. Now, before we dive into it, guys, make sure you tap that thumbs up button. Helps me out a ton. Hit that subscription. Turn that bell on. I'll be live tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys can't make the show, drop any of your comments down below. I'll try to get to every single one of them. The Sit show starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then if you guys haven't checked out drafters.com, make sure you sign up using promo code SLEAZE. Shout out to the sponsor. And tonight in our Discord, the guys FF that I run with Big Draft Energy, will be dropping our pick'em tickets in there. And I got a spicy lock one tonight I love a lot from the Thursday night game tonight. So let's dive in, guys. Let's take a look at my top 36 wide receiver rankings heading into week 7. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my wide receiver ranking board. Baller tier at the top, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. We're going to crank through all of them. In my box here, you will see the wide receivers that are on a bye. So at the top here, you got Zay Flowers, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. I have them out. And then up here, Michael Pittman, Luther Burden did not make the top 36, but they are honorable mentions, and we'll talk about that. And then you've got Calvin Ridley, who could be out, DJ Moore, who could be out, Garrett Wilson, who's out, Chris Godwin out, probably didn't practice today, Ayuk, who knows, Persall hasn't practiced, he might be out, Puka Nacua should be out, Marvin Harrison Jr. got in limited concussion work, we don't know about him yet, Neighbor's season is over, and Igbuka has already been ruled out. And God, the list of injuries, man, through 6 weeks of fantasy football is absolutely brutal. Now, we're going to dive into the rankings here. And when I start with one team, I like to stick with the same kind of team matchup there. So we'll rank them all out together at once so we can talk about both matchups at the same time here. Now, starting off with number 1, and there's a couple updates here. So he's practiced, but the coach is looking for his breathing. So I guess he's got some respiratory problems. And if he could pass those tests, he'll be out there. And that is C.D. Lamb. Now, we need to throw out George Pickens here as well. I'm going to have him at 20. I'm going to drop George Pickens down because you saw his numbers when CeeDee Lamb was out there. They were a lot worse. But we'll talk about that all here in a second. I've got to grab, dude, this game is what you want to target across the board. So Deebo Samuel here. I'm looking through slowly here. I can't find, there he is. I got Deebo Samuel at 15. And Terry McLaurin is going to be back in this game as well, but I'm not going to skyrocket him up yet on his first game back. So, what do you have here with this game? You have the highest implied point total game of the week that has gone up already in a spread of 2 points already. It started at 53.5. Now it's at 55.5. I could even see it going to 56.5. Both these defenses are absolute shambles versus the wide receiver, versus the quarterback, versus the running back. This is that game where you want to start every single player. Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, JD5, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz. You're not going to want to miss this game. I can't believe the NFL hasn't flexed this game to like Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. It's absolutely bonkers to me that they have this at 125. But in a 55.5 point total game that I expect to go 60 plus, possibly even 70 plus. And then I said earlier, like for some reason, I have this weird feeling that we could all expect it to be 70 points and then we get an NFL money maker and it's like 20-17 and it's an ugly game. But I don't see that happening here. This is going to be a perfect matchup across the board. You start everybody against these defenses, and this is going to be an electric shootout game. Now, number 2 is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. And yes, he's back into my top rankings as well. Jameson Williams back at 24 here. You get the Detroit Lions that are going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Mike Evans has practiced today as well. Looks like he's going to be back in a super plus matchup against the Detroit Lions here. And I don't have Igbuka or Godwin up here because I don't think they're going to play in this game. And Sterling Shepard did not cut the top 36 for me. So you get, what do you have here in this game? You have another game, 52.5 over under. It's also gone up a point on the week. You have Baker Mayfield playing like the MVP quarterback that he is. He's absolutely balling out. And he even lost his wide receiver Egbuka last week and made Tez Johnson and Cameron Johnson relevant. K. Otton's finally back on the map. Sterling Shepard had, I think, 50 yards in the game, or had a long catch that he had as well. And you get the Detroit Lions defense. Both these defenses are beat up. Lions are down 5 of their 6 corners that they came into the season with on the depth chart. Kirby Joseph is banged up. Their backup safeties are banged up. This defense, if you watched the game last week, I think it was Monday Night Football, I believe, or Sunday Night Football, whichever one it was, you could hear the commentators say how bad this Lions secondary is going to be. So I don't care who's out there with the way Baker Mayfield is playing, you're starting Mike Evans with 100% certainty this week. On the Lions side, same kind of situation for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their secondary is banged up, and you know they don't have Bucky Irving. Rashad White's filled in kind of nice. And Baker Mayfield can do it with anybody, so he'll keep them in this game. This could be another potential firework shootout game. That's why these are the 2 highest implied point total games of the week, which you should like to target in fantasy football. That's how it goes. So Amon-Ra at 2, Jameson Williams at 4. Moving on down here, number 3. My goodness, Jackson Smith-Njigba and the Houston Texans. They're going to be facing off on Monday Night Football, 41.5, low implied point total game. So with Jackson Smith-Njigba, I don't even think it matters. His separation is beyond belief. His yards per route run is the highest in the NFL by like 3 yards over the NFL record. He is a absolute destroyer of defenses, and I don't care if you're going up against the number 1 defense with how good he has looked. You are starting Jackson Smith-Njigba from here to the next 5 years probably. Now, Nico Collins I have at 6, and this one's very interesting. So if you guys were in the channel last week, it was the only week I liked to start BTJ was last week. Why? Because if you look at the Seattle defense, it's a great secondary. But last week, they were all banged up heading into that game. So they had 2 corners down, 2 safeties down. They were both doubtful that both missed that game. So I'm going to pull up the game here and see if I can get an injury status report here. So Seattle side. So Witherspoon, still questionable. Woolen, still questionable. Concussion. He should be backed off concussion. And then you had Julian Love, safety, hamstring. We don't know. Derek Hall, linebacker, oblique. So their secondary was so banged up. If they're banged up again, which I'm assuming they're going to be, it is a tough matchup for Nico Collins, but he's an absolute alpha. And I have him at wide receiver 6. Number 4, the game tonight, Jamar Get Silly Chase has been rejuvenated with the old man Joe Flacco. And we're going to throw up T. Higgins here as well. I have him at 25 because Joe Flacco could fly from Cleveland, go straight to Cincinnati, fly straight to Green Bay, play against one of the top defenses, and make these guys relevant. Now you get the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. Pittsburgh Steelers run D coming off the bye last week. They were lights out against the run. So, and you know Chase Brown and the Bengals offensive line is not running the ball anytime soon for the rest of the 2025 season. So this is why when I talked about in the videos that I liked the Joe Flacco signing more than I liked it than Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson or any of the quarterbacks out there, because he's a quick veteran release guy with an offensive line that could learn the playbook and make these guys relevant still with accurate throws. I didn't think that was going to happen with anybody else. So I really like the signing for them, and I really think he's going to make them relevant till we possibly get Joe Burrow back, if he comes back, which is mid-December. Now, on to the Steelers side. This is your matchup for Declan DK Metcalf, and I have him at number 12. And DK Metcalf has scored a touchdown in 4 straight games with Aaron Rodgers. And guess what? You're getting the Cincinnati Bengals defense, and they just ruled out Trey Hendrickson, which means the Bengals are probably looking to trade him, which is their star D end. So, yeah, Jaylen Warren's going to have a big game here as well. But DK Metcalf is going to absolutely feast on this defense. Aaron Rodgers, the connection is growing. You know he always funnels the ball to his wide receiver 1. I like DK Metcalf to score again in this game tonight here. Number 5, last of the top. And this one's, man, Justin Jefferson. So I have him at 5. It's hard to put Justin Jefferson down lower just because he's such a superstar talent and he can ball out with any quarterback. I mean, you are going to get the Eagles in this game. They do have 2 great corners in Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. But Justin Jefferson's still a superstar. We don't know if it's going to be Carson Wentz or J.J. McCarthy yet because they're both banged up. So that's why I'm kind of like sketched on the fence here thinking about it. I'm going to look at it here mid-show here if I could pull it up. At the same time, where is the Viking? Oh, say Vikings, Eagles. Okay. Injury report game here. So We are looking at full injury report right now. I don't see either one of them on there, but I've seen tweets about it. So could be Carson Wentz, could be JJ McCarthy, still Justin Jefferson for me, still elite talent, still alpha, still number 5. Number 7, the big game last week for Drake London. The Michael Penix connection finally re-kicked in. Then he could have had like 50 points in that game if they weren't just blowing him out and could have kept feeding him. And then the Bills kind of came back late. But you got to look at the matchup here. The Falcons get the 49ers. And what do we know? My team is falling apart. We know there's no Fred Warner. We know there's no Nick Bosa. We know our wide receiver room is banged up to the max. No Brock Purdy again. Deommodre Lenoir is a great corner out there. Rookie Stout's been great in the nickel as well. But Drake London is just on a different level than these guys. I think Drake London's going to have an absolute smash game here. And I think my 49ers are in big trouble here. So going to the 49ers side, I don't know. I don't believe that I put, do I have Kendrick Bourne in here? I think I might have Kendrick Bourne in my top 36. No, I do not. So I don't have Kendrick Bourne. You're going up against A.J. Barner as well, which is a very tough matchup. Ricky Pearsall looks like he's not going to play. Ayuk's not going to be out there. Juan Jennings was playing on 5 crack ribs, and he's kind of a trade candidate now. And you got Kittle back. So I don't have Kendrick Bourne up here, but he could be an honorable mention guy. Number 8, Devontae Adams, anytime TD. I love it this week. You get the Jacksonville Jaguars secondary, who's absolutely terrible. Puka Nacua may be out. If you watch my sleeper video, I like Jordan Whittington as a sleeper play. But the only thing I'm worried about here with Devontae Adams, and he missed 2 red zone touchdowns last week. He was wide open with Stafford. And this guy's getting red zone looks at the highest rate in the NFL. Like, he is the guy, right? It's these London games. These London games have just been terrible. So, you know, I still love him as a top alpha, number 8 wide receiver. But I just hope we don't get another stinker, man, because these London games have been just absolutely terrible. Now, when you're looking at the Jags here, I'm going BTJ at number 11 this week, which he's in a tough matchup. And again, it's a London game. And he's back into my top 36, Travis Hunter. And I know you guys can blast me. I was super high on Travis Hunter coming in. I can't believe the way he's been used. The eye test would tell you 100% that he has superstar talent. Look at the catches he's made that are absolutely electric. Look at when they get him the ball in space on a screen. He'll dip on 5 guys, and he's still not being used right. But now we have this Liam Cohen update right now that Travis Hunter is going to be the focal point number 1. I'll believe that when I see it with him. The Rams defense is good. BTJ, had a big game last week, which I liked him as a smash start last week. You're going to get a tougher matchup here with the Rams. But I still think BTJ is going to have a big game here. Yeah, I think he's going to catch traction here. I know he dropped that ball, which may have cost him the game last week. Still, he's still an elite alpha talent I'm not giving up on yet. But I do like him again as a wide receiver to start this week. Number 9, Cortland Sutton. This is going to be a smash start wide receiver. The New York Giants, man, their front 7 where they stop the run and they get after the tight ends is absolutely great. Their corners and their secondary versus the wide receiver has been absolutely terrible. I know the Broncos offense hasn't been clicking, the ugly game in London, but again, it seems like that's what always happens in London. So Cortland Sutton has got to be in your lineups this week. It is too good of a matchup. You just got to hope that Bo Nix starts playing like Bo Nix here and Sean Payton gets this offense rolling, because it's been kind of a roller coaster ride. But, that's how they were last year as well at the beginning of the season. They had a slow start, then they picked it up in the second half. So could be what we're looking at again, but I like Cortland Sutton a ton this week at number 9. Bingo! Your league-winning wide receiver 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs is back, and that is going to be Rashee Rice. And they have already updated him as it is not going to be Rashee Rice getting worked in, which is what I've been saying over the past 6 weeks of videos of buy Rashee Rice. Go get him now. He's going to get a full 90% workload because he did have the major injury, but he also had the 6 weeks off, or the 6-week suspension off. So, he's still training ramped up, and he was 100% before that suspension kicked in. So, yeah, he doesn't have, game speed play and, full practice and team, everything like that. This man was averaging 22 points a game last year before injury. He is Mahomes' go-to guy, and he is going to absolutely electrify in this first game back against the Las Vegas Raiders' terrible secondary. Number 23, and now Hollywood Brown, and he did not fill into the role of Rashee Rice being gone at all. I mean, bad return on investment with him. I know he popped the shoulder in week 1, so you could use that if you want. But still, he's just not a possession guy. He now, to me, with Rashee Rice back, is going to be your Jameson Williams, your Rashid Shaheed, your boomer bust player. That's how I think he's going to be for the rest of the season as long as Rashee Rice is back out there. So I'm going to put him right next to Jameson Williams at wide receiver 23. On to the Raiders side. I don't even know if you should even, put this guy in your rankings right now. So Jacoby Myers, I have at 31. And, dude, he wants a trade. He wants out. Geno Smith has been awful. Like the worst quarterback in football. Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly cannot figure this out right now. The Raiders season is pretty much done. Who knows if he's even engaged to play in this game? Like, if they want to trade him, they save him for injury. It's not looking good for the Raiders. If you need like a desperation wide receiver 4 flex play, throw Jacoby Myers in there, but you're playing the Chiefs at Arrowhead, and that probably goes to garbage time, and you probably see less Jacoby Myers. So it's a tough call for me, but, could he get 10, 12 points and be a safe floor for sure? He's just scary with the situation that the Raiders have right now. Number 13, Rome Odunze. And I don't have DJ Moore up here, right? Because I don't know what's going on. So I have DJ Moore here, right? And I have Luther Burden up here as well in the top corner. So if DJ Moore is down, I would like to throw Luther Burden into the 33-34 range, but we don't have that update yet. He went to the hospital and had, a hernia or something with his hip. They haven't really given us, I watched, Dr. Jesse's report on it, but it was more, internal hernia stuff he was talking about, which I haven't seen on the report. So I don't really know what's going on, but they say he's day to day. But a guy that went to the hospital on a stretcher coming back the next week just seems really off to me. So I don't know how to break that down for you guys yet. But Romo Dunze in this matchup, dude, the Saints are terrible versus the wide receiver. He got a touchdown call back last week, but I haven't seen that flag thrown since like 2 years where the offensive linemen line up staggered from each other and they call a flag back. He made a great catch on it too. So, you got to like Romo Dunze even more with DJ Moore down this week. And you got that Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland nightmare at tight end. And this is your wide receiver 1. So Romo Dunze is in for a big splash week here, especially depending on the DJ Moore news. And when we're looking at the Saints side here, this is going to be a play I absolutely love this week. It is Chris Olave. And we are going to grab, I don't think I have, oh wait, do I not have Rashid Shaheed? I thought I did. So Rashid Shaheed, I was going to throw, I guess I messed it up. I think do I not have Rashid Shaheed here? This is how you know live video problems happen live. Hang on. Yeah, this is messed up here. Hang on. So Rashid Shaheed, we'll talk about Chris Olave while I'm getting this Rashid Shaheed's on here. So Chris Olave, last week we talked about this. I talked about how you could look at a cornerback 1 and think that it is going to line up against Chris Olave, and that's just not how it goes this year, right? So I'm putting him down here at 34. That's where I ranked him on X. I messed up the video again. Sorry, guys. Here, throw him in here. So, and Rashid Shaheed got the Chris Gonzalez treatment last week, which is exactly what I called. So when you're in the Kellen Moore system, Chris Olave is going to get 10 to 15 targets out of the slot because he plays 70% of his snaps from the slot. The Saints play every single game from behind. They're going to be playing from behind again this week and probably for the rest of time. It is going to be a cold game at Soldier Field for them. But Spencer Rattler's been playing better. So when you have a matchup against your, cornerback 1 that's not a superstar, which the Bears are down Jalen Johnson for the entire year, which is their superstar, it could open up more for Rashid Shaheed because he's your outside X receiver for the Saints. So, but again, this is like Xavier Worthy and Jameson Williams with Rashid Shaheed. If you want to start him, that's up to you. It could be boom, it could be bust. And I think that's how these 3 guys are for the rest of the season. And I think Chris Olave is an absolute smash this week. Sorry, moving on here. Get something to drink here. Cheers up. Vitamin water. Sponsor me. Moving on to wide receiver 16 on the week. And this one also is scary. Jalen Waddle. So Jalen Waddle right now currently, and they're going up against the Browns. So I'm throwing Jerry Jeudy here. And I see I messed up my rankings. Oops. Usually I am prepared. This is my fault, guys. Jerry Jeudy is my wide receiver 36. So Jalen Waddle is massive trade reports right now. So could we see a Trey Hendrickson type situation where he gets sat down and the Dolphins could blow this whole team up? You know, you got Devon A-Chain trade rumors right now, and you got Tua apologizing for his comments after talking shit, saying no one's involved and no one's plugged in and not showing up for team meetings. Mike McDaniels is the next head coach to go, guys. He's cooked. In my opinion, he should already be gone. But you got a matchup here with the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns absolutely stopped the run. They struggle versus the wide receiver. Jalen Waddle's been getting great volume since Tyreek Hill is down. But again, this is like one of those situations where we don't know what's going to happen come Sunday because the trade deadline is November 4th. So we've got about, 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks here till it hits. And I'm scared for what happens with Waddle. There's a lot of Giants talk, but if he's out there this week, you got to start him because his volume is so good. Now on the Jerry Jeudy side, this hinges on David Njoku. So David Njoku took that knee pop and his leg went backwards, and somehow it's not that bad of an injury, or somehow the Browns are saying he's day-to-day or they're hiding the injury because the trade deadline. I don't know. But when he went down, you got to see Jerry Jeudy finally get involved in the game. Like when it was Njoku and Fannin, Dylan Gabriel's a rookie quarterback, always looking for his security blankets. That's where the offense was at, right? So when he went down, Jerry Jeudy got more involved. So if Njoku's back out there, he's not a bad wide receiver for flex play. But, I mean, when you have 52 pass attempts and you only get 5 receptions, that's still kind of sketch to me with Jerry Jeudy. Wide receiver number 17 is going to be all of them here. So this matchup is great, guys, versus the Colts. They're very good versus the run. So Lab McConkey is 19. We're going to have Quentin Johnston back, so who knows if the Lab McConkey run is over. Keenan Allen's always that floor safe kind of guy with touchdown upside. I have him at wide receiver 28. But we're back to this nightmare now. And Trey Harris did not fill in like Quentin Johnston when Quentin Johnston was out. Well, that was obvious, right? But now you've got the Chargers who ran over the Dolphins with Kamani Vidal because everyone runs over the Dolphins. And they're still in the market looking for a running back with tons of trade rumors, which tells you that they know that was just an easy matchup. So obviously in this game, it's going to be a very tough matchup for Kamani Vidal on the ground. It's going to be a lot more passing. And now you've got QJ back in the mix. So you're back to this roulette wheel of the Chargers. I mean, you could say Lab McConkey's had 2 good games in a row, but yeah, now you got your big deep ball threat back. It's a big game versus the Colts, 5-1, 4-2. I'd say they're all flexible wide receiver 2s. Say Keenan's maybe wide or Quentin. Yeah, it's too hard. They're all flex plays in my opinion. Moving on to number 17, Ted McMillan, my smash player of the week last week. 2 touchdowns in his performance. The only scary thing here with Ted McMillan in this game this week is you're going to get a matchup of, are they going to even really stay in the game, right? So the Panthers have won 3 of 4. The Jets are the only winless team in football at 0-6. And Garrett Wilson's down, which is, who are the weapons the Jets have besides Mason Taylor, who's not really an elite weapon. He's a rookie tight end. So do the Panthers just run him over here? And Ted McMillan doesn't need to be used much. And, you still got Sauce Gardner, too. So I love Ted. I just don't know if the Panthers are going to smash him here, or if the Jets, Justin Fields had -10 accumulative passing yards for the Jets last week. But that was a London game because London games are terrible. So, yeah, you're still starting Ted, but it's kind of a tempered start for Ted for me. His touchdown upside's still there with his massive size. Number 22, the wide receiver I stayed away from all year long. Both of them combined. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are going to come in at number 22 and number 27. I didn't bring it up with Justin Jefferson because I wanted to bring it up on my own against the Eagles here, or against the Vikings here. So what you have to look at, the number, and the Vikings are coming off a bye, guys, a bye. Now, what are the Vikings versus the quarterback on the season? Number 1, what are the Vikings versus the wide receiver on the season? Number 1, where do the Vikings have their weak spot in their defense? The run game. What are the Eagles' offense only good at this year? Is the run game. I do not like A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith in this nightmare of a matchup with Jalen Hurts, who's throwing like 35% completion rate. He has been absolutely terrible. One of my greatest calls of the year was the Eagles offense will not be good this year, and that is exactly where we are at. They have got to switch something big time here. This is a Dallas Goedert game and a Saquon Barkley game. Maybe, there's always the touchdown upside. There's always, that could happen. Smith could hit a bomb. AJ could get a red zone play. I just don't like the volume that's going to happen here in this game for the wide receivers. The Vikings are nasty. And I had Jordan Addison at 26 as well. And he could be interesting. I forgot to talk about him with Jefferson. He could be really interesting because if you look at the preseason, dude, J.J. McCarthy's connection with him was massive. We just got to figure out who's going to be the starting QB here for the Vikings. So I have Jordan Addison at 26. Number 29, Stephon Diggs, practiced and limited. I know he's got a Q tag right now. He's going to be good to roll. Hasn't scored a touchdown all year long, which is kind of crazy. Had his breakout game 2 weeks ago, then kind of, didn't show up at all, and it was the Boutte show last week. And I have him low here because you're playing against the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans, dude, their team is absolutely done. Like, you got Calvin Ridley over here. We don't know if he's going to be out there at all. A 30-year-old with a hamstring, I would assume he's not going to be out there. And the Titans struggle heavy versus the run, so this could be a Ramondre, Travion game. But Ramondre's had good matchups, and he's averaging 1.2 yards per carry. So Diggs, still a wide receiver 3-4 flex play. I just think the Patriots could beat the brakes off him here, and they won't need to pass much in this game. Number 30, Matthew Golden, and he's part of the crew now. He is part, and he got more involved, right? So let me talk about this when I say part of the crew. We might get Christian Watson back this week too. You just saw the update from LaFleur saying Christian Watson looked great. He may play this week. So if Christian Watson's back out there, you got Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson on the outside, and you saw last year what happened to Jaden Reed, who's a slot wide receiver. His usage was like 40%. So when I say he's joining the group now, I'm saying that as Matthew Golden is now joining the group of Xavier Worthy, Jamison Williams, and Rashid Shaheed of boomer bust guys. And we also almost have Jaden Reed back. That's like three weeks away, and the Jordan Love will have all his weapons. Then what do we do, right? So Matthew Golden at 30, and he's part of my boomer bust crew for the rest of the season now. Number 34, last but not least, Wan'Dale Robinson, nightmare matchup. You got Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, the hype of the New York Giants going into Mile High Stadium versus one of the best defenses in football. And I don't know if Wan'Dale Robinson has earned, the respectability of, Patrick Surtain to shadow him, because he'll shadow someone all over the field. He's the only cornerback that will go every single where. He's the best in the league. So has Wan'Dale Robinson earned that, and you're going to get a full Patrick Surtain shadow, then he's in for a nightmare game. But if he hasn't earned it, maybe he gets a little volume to be a wide receiver 4 flex play, but you got to be really, really scared about that. And like to end out the top 36 here, man, let's just put a prayer up that Liam Cohen knows what he's doing with Travis Hunter. For the love of God, please. Thanks for rocking with me, guys. That is the end of the episode. That is my top 36 wide receiver tier rankings heading into week 7 to help you who to start over who to help you dominate your matchups this week, guys. Remember, the live show is tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you can't make it into the live show, make sure you drop any comments you have below. I'll try to get to every single one of them. That is a goal of mine to help you guys out. As always, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you tap that thumbs up, hit that subscription button, turn that bell on so you know I'll be live all weekend long as well, not just tomorrow. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday we recap everything. We like to show our transparency of where we missed, where we hit, so we can be better for you guys. Now, if you haven't checked out either one of these, drafters.com or the Guys FF Discord, they're both pinned in the top of the comments and the description of the video. If you want to talk fantasy football with us 24/7 off stream, that is where we are at, guys. Make sure you check it out. And that's it for me in this episode. All my rankings, kicker, defense, quarterback, running back, wide receivers, tight end video is next. We'll all be out today before kickoff. That's also another goal of mine to get everything out to you guys before Thursday. And then Friday, we will dive into smash start running backs, wide receivers. I'll do a quarterback, tight end video together. And then we'll start all the live shows for the weekend, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Hope to see you guys in the live show. That's it for me, man. Sleazebomb out. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.